man, sorry, I missed the game. What was the score? Is it 1-0 Sens? No, it was a bit worse than that. I don't know, I just saw 14:43. Is that the time that the goal was scored at, or? 14:43. Those were the shots. Who is still watching this? Let's go! It starts with an A and ends with anxiety. Off the charts levels of passion. That's just a nightmare. With you wherever you are. Welcome to LFR. To the Ottawa Senators. Let's talk about that game just a little bit, but first, do you want to dominate off the ice the way that one of your favorite two Ontario hockey teams dominate on the ice? Well then, my friend, you need the Toyota Tacoma. You should check that out. Its standard I-Force engine boasts an impressive towing capacity of up to 6,400 pounds. Especially handy if you're a goaltender and need to haul your entire team with you. And up to 6,400 pounds, well, that would make it the most powerful Toyota Tacoma ever. So whether you're hauling your gear to the rink for a game that you're gonna play, or heading to an away game that, well, someone is going to allegedly play, well, if you were gonna do either of those things, you could tackle it with ease with the Toyota Tacoma. With the available power liftgate, you load your stuff in, that's nice and easy. You take your stuff out, it's nice and easy. It's nice and easy! Experience power, capability, and convenience with the Toyota Tacoma. Visit shoptoyota.ca or visit your local Ontario Toyota dealer during Red Tag Days, March through May. That's now. That's right now. You should do that. Now, let's talk about the game. There are 3 Saturday games left. That's just the Saturday games. You know what's funny? Like, the Leafs got just wrecked. Kicked up and down the ice for the entirety of that hockey game from puck drop until merciful final horn. And usually that's the kind of video, that's the kind of game that generates the sickos. Not send sickos. Well, in this case, yes, send sickos, but the general sickos. The people who are like, guess what? Leafs are getting murdered. Let's go honk the sad clown's nose. Let's go watch Steve. Let's go watch him lose his mind. Ah! And looked at the numbers for tonight's stream. No one did that. Some people did that. Very few people did that because they just kind of stink. That's what they are. That's their identity. Their identity is that they stink. Some teams are fast, and that's their identity. Some teams score a lot, but can't really defend, and that's their identity. Some teams can't score very much, but they're great at defense, and that's their identity. And some teams are tough, and that's their identity. And some teams are more than one thing at once, and that's their identity. The Leafs' identity is that they stink. Now, some of that is luck. Tanev, Matthews. Most of that, though, is that they stink. The Senators outshot the Leafs 9-6 in the first period. That's the best the Leafs did. The Sens outshot the Leafs 19-5 in the second period. Well, everyone has a stinker, right? In the third period, a period the Leafs were losing the entire time, the Senators outshot them 15-3. No, not 15-23, 15-3. The Leafs had 3 shots in a period they were losing the entire time. The Senators had, I think, 3 goals in that period, or 2, or whatever. It didn't matter. Maybe one of them got called back. Maybe 2 of them got called back. There was a goalie interference, and there was a high stick. And the night before, against the Carolina Hurricanes, Craig Berube had the gall to call out Joseph Woll of all Leafs after getting kicked up and down the ice by another team. That one was at home! So wait a sec. Why was Joseph Woll the starter in this game? Well, Can I show you a clip from the stream just to show you that I am sick?
Maple Leafs goaltender Anthony Stoller's left warm-ups tonight in Ottawa after taking a puck to the throat and has been taken to hospital for precautionary imaging. An update will be provided available. Oh my God, that's so serious. Who did it? Who ripped a shot that high? And why was it definitely William Nylander, who used to do that all the time? And the coach did call him out to shoot more last night. No, I shouldn't just go throwing names out like that. Here, I have the video right here. Oh my God, it was a right-handed shot. Oh no. Is that Nylander? It is Nylander! Do I do this or do I do this? Do I do this or what? Name someone, anyone who knows this team like I do. Off the top of my head. Nylander has done this multiple times to multiple goalies he has played with. I do this. Who do you think you are? I am.
Dude, Anthony Stolarz takes a puck to the throat during warm-up for this game. He left the game, obviously. He went to hospital. He got checked out. And Craig Berube said at last update that he was going to join the team to get on the plane, which is good news because you'd rather be with the team than in the hospital. That usually is a good sign. Tell me how I knew it was William Nylander. Tell me how I knew that he was the one who did that. Because he pinged Garrett Sparks in the head during a practice not that long ago. It was only a few years ago. Feels like a lifetime ago that Garrett Sparks was on the Leafs. But trust me, it wasn't as long as you think. There was another time where Nylander got Matt Murray up high, and people thought that's why Murray didn't play in the game. Apparently, Murray flared up another injury, but the puck still hit him around the neck and collarbone. And when I found out that a goalie got hurt in warmups because they took a puck up high, tell me how I knew that it was the guy who has done this several times before. Craig Berube is like, Willie, we need you to shoot more. And Willie is like, bet. And he hits a 6'7" goalie in the throat and then took one shot the rest of the night. Now, I'm sure he felt awful, and that might have had something to do with it. Here's this proof from Luke Fox. An apologetic William Nylander says he's been texting with Stolarz and he sounds okay. I'm sure he feels awful. I'm sure he does. This isn't the feel awful league. This is the do better league. Maybe stuff happens, and this is certainly a stuff happens league sometimes, but very often in the NHL, the stuff happens to you that you earned. And no, I am not talking about Anthony Stolarz in this instance, because that is just a teammate hitting you in the neck. Maybe forget the league. Maybe this is just the hockey gods hate you. That's what this season is. That's what this... Name something that has gone well. Name something that's gone well. Something, anything. Anything. Bogru. Like, that's it. That's it. They were outshot 43-14 against the Sens. Michael Pezzetta took warm-up and then didn't play. Justin Bourne nailing it, and this dude's a former professional hockey player, can't make sense of the Leafs dressing Calle Jarnkrok. Please, like, one of their biggest mistakes was not trading him at the deadline, not to get something for him, but to simply get him off the team and away from Craig Berube. Can't make sense of the Leafs dressing Calle Jarnkrok over Michael Pezzetta for Saturday night after some podcast remarks you may or may not care about versus a rival team with the game outcome irrelevant. Pezzetta is under contract next year, not Jarnkrok. Jarnkrok is rumored to already have a deal in place with the Swedish team. What's the goal tonight? So if you don't know what the podcast comments are, like if you're just sitting there going, well, what do the Leafs care about podcast comments made by like the Toronto media or Steve and Adam and Jesse or whatever? Dude, it wasn't us. It was Brady Tkachuk! Brady! The captain of the Sens, who you played this evening, sitting on a podcast that he has with his brother, talking about how you guys are a bunch of irredeemable softies for not sticking up for your captain after Radko Gudas took him out at the knees. And you responded by doing what exactly? Nothing. Not a thing. The most obvious outcome in the world for anyone who has ever watched hockey, ever once, is, oh, the Leafs are going to play Ottawa after those comments, and oh, look at this. Look at this. They called up Michael Pezzetta ahead of this game. Look at this. Look at this. He's going to be in that game, and there's going to be a brouhaha of sorts. I'm not saying Pezzetta's going to go after Brady Tkachuk. I don't think the Sens let that happen. But I am saying there will be fisticuffs. There will be 50 fisticuffs. That's how many fisticuffs there's going to be. And instead, in a back-to-back scenario, the Leafs just fed Michael Pezzetta popcorn for 24 hours. And then, by the way, Joseph Woll, their goalie who has been completely hung out to dry for 24 hours against two teams, the Hurricanes and the Sens, he gets run. Brandon Carlo is on the ice. And what do the Leafs and Brandon do? Nothing. Not a thing. Pathetic. JD Atkinson, who is in our chat for every stream that we do, had a great comment where he thinks Brandon Carlo was sent to the Leafs by the Boston Bruins like a teddy bear with like cameras in its eyes, and he's a spy. And it's a conspiracy theory that I believe. I genuinely believe it. The Bruins retained a lot of money for multiple years to send this guy out the door and got a haul in return. And he turned into a pumpkin at breakneck speeds. And not just turned into a pumpkin, one of the craziest things, I think the craziest thing about Brandon Carlo is not that he doesn't stick up for his teammates. It's not that he seems to genuinely hate the goalies that he plays in front of. That is believable. What isn't believable is that he was ever a Bruin. Ever. You didn't pick anything up when you were there. They employed you, the Boston Bruins, who draft Bruins, sign Bruins, and trade for Bruins. The team with one of the most cast iron identities in the entire NHL. You were employed to play hockey for the Boston Bruins for multiple years. I don't believe you. That's impossible. That is absolutely impossible. So Pezzetta takes warmups, doesn't play, your goalie gets run, nothing happens, and you get outshot 43-14 and just take your sustained kicking? The craziest thing about this game is that the Leafs were down 3-0 and somehow made it 3-2. That's crazy because you need to take shots in order to score goals, and the Leafs somehow managed to score on 2 of them. But when the Sens, spearheaded by Michael Amadio, former Leaf, who they let leave through waivers, scored to just put the Sens permanently back on top, it was sad. It was so sad after that. So sad. Like, they're pathetic. I cannot believe that every game that ends, I cannot believe how many games left there are. There's still 11 games left, dude. Their final game of the season, which is against Ottawa, in Ottawa, by the way, isn't until April 15th. By my count, and I might be wrong because I'm often wrong when it comes to this sort of thing, the Leafs have, there's 25 days left in the season. And I'm watching the numbers dwindle on everything, and I'm not blaming anybody. It's, there's no point in anything. Name one thing management has done or is doing that makes any sense or instills any kind of optimism. Name one thing this coaching staff has done or is doing that instills any confidence. Name one thing this roster has done or is doing that instills any confidence. The thing that gives me the most pause, the thing that makes me go, maybe there's a shadow of a team still in there, is parts of the roster. The coaching staff? Oh my God. These guys hate Craig Berube, and I think he hates them. That's the only explanation that makes any kind of sense. Brad Treliving? He might be in on this, he might be in on that. Please, no! Pull out of everything immediately and resign! Ah! I'm going to say this until it somehow comes true. The easiest, simplest thing to do, the thing any smart team would do, you have to fire this general manager. You have to. Oh, well, what about the president's? You have to fire this general manager, and if you want a president so bad, you hire one. And then have him or her hire the new general manager. And then that new general manager creates a new front office, You gas the coach at whatever point in the process that you would like, whenever is most convenient for you. And then you have the new GM hire that guy. You stop the cycle of I just got here. You stop the cycle of lame duck GMs and lame duck presidents and lame duck coaches. You stop the cycle. And in that, you still have a team with Matthews and Nylander and Nyes, and there are other solid pieces on this team. And no, that is not enough to make you a contender, but it's a foundation, for crying out loud. It is a place to start, somewhere to build. A place that most teams that are rebuilding don't even have. A lot of teams that are rebuilding start several layers of nonsense below that. You got the oldest D core in the league, right? But maybe some creative ideas? People keep asking, like, well, who would you hire to be the next coach? Or, like, who would you hire to be the next GM? That's your job! Look, Pete DeBoer, okay. Pete DeBoer is out there. He does a very good job. He has done a very good job in the NHL. Okay? There's your vet. You always defer to the vet. There's your vet. You could go out and get a guy like Mark Letestu, who's doing an incredible job with the Colorado Eagles, right? You could promote him to an NHL gig. You could do that. There's two ideas I just gave you. There's two ideas I just gave you, right? There's the older guy who's been there and has lots of experience. There's the new guy who looks like a hotshot up-and-comer. There's two completely different options for you. Who would I get to be a GM? Kent Hughes has done a pretty good job in Montreal. Bill Zito has done a pretty good job in Florida. Is there an agent out there that's looking for a gig? Why does it got to be Doug Armstrong, who is in the stage of his career where he's resigning from stuff because he's old? Who do you get to be the president? Well, that one might be Doug Armstrong, on account of that's the sort of gig that an old guy would have. President of an NHL team. I know how that sounds. Of an NHL team. To me, those are the things that feel so agonizingly obvious. They are big decisions, but they're agonizingly obvious. And how can I trust them to make those big decisions that seem agonizingly obvious to me when they call up a tough guy in Michael Pezzetta, an energy tough guy? They have a back-to-back, including one that is against a rival and emotionally charged, and you don't even play him. Matthew Nyes has openly talked about having some kind of knee injury. You played him a team high nearly 25 minutes. The Toronto Maple Leafs are not in the business of doing anything that makes any kind of logical sense whatsoever. When I tell you it's bleak, my friend, it is bleak. And we're just going to have to ride out the next 11 games like Tom Hanks clinging to that porta potty door in Castaway as he floats towards what he doesn't know. My friend, you know what? I want to end this video on a happy note. I want to end this on a positive. Can I give you some positive news to end this video? Okay, great. Here it comes. There's 2 days off between now and the Leafs' next game. That's the best I can do. It's a back-to-back, by the way. Of course it is. A back-to-back with travel. Of course it is. And it's got Boston in it. Agony. Torture and agony. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. If they don't make significant changes, not to the roster, but to the people who make decisions each and every day, this team is doomed, and doomed for a long, long time. They got to make these decisions, and they got to make them now. They got to make them now. They got to be ready to make them. None of this sitting on their hands and wondering about. All I ever hear about the Leafs is, oh my, we need a leader! Not someone tearing their hair out because they're scared to make a choice. It's a tough gig. I get it. That's what the money's for. Holy cow. That is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. tell all your friends. If you call a guy up, you should play him. If you have a coach, your team should listen to them. Keep your shots friggin' low and warm up, and hire decision makers that make decisions. Ideally, good ones.